Folks, welcome back. I've got something really special on the bench today, and that is not one, but two AMD Radeon R9 295X2s. Now, these are like the Bugatti Veyron of graphics cards, and they came to us from that paragon of marketplaces, eBay, in not working condition. But I have a soft spot for these dual GPU graphics cards, as anybody who's read my posts on Hard Forum knows. And I love these things, I guess, for the same reason that one might love a Bugatti that you found in a junkyard. It's still a Bugatti, right? Anyway, I think this one here is the better candidate of the two for repair. So you can see I've already got it torn down. So let me grab my multimeter here, and we'll take a look at the card, and we'll see what we can do about diagnosing the problem and getting it fixed. Okay, with our spare card out of the way, we can take a look at the front of our patient here. And what we're looking for is any evidence of physical damage of some kind, whether that's burned components or stuff that's broken off, or corrosion might be another thing. And while this card is very dirty and it's got a lot of residue here from what looks to be this weird metallic thermal paste, if anybody knows what kind of thermal paste this is and cares to tell me down in the comments, by all means leave a comment and tell me that, because I've never seen thermal paste like this. I don't think that's what liquid metal is like, and I can't imagine it would work if you got that much liquid metal on it, but anyway, I digress. So we don't see anything that jumps out at us on the front of this, but if we flip the card over, the story is different. And if let me zoom you in here so you can see. But if we look right here, we've got a capacitor that looks like it exploded. And that's a clue as to why our card doesn't work. So we're going to want to check that circuit for any sort of unexpected behavior with our multimeter. And we'll do that in a second, but we're just going to take another look around the card. And beyond that, I don't see anything else on this that looks obviously damaged. What you see here is residue from the thermal pads that I'll clean off later if we can get this working. But for now, it doesn't matter. Anyway, our most obvious point of concern is this capacitor right here. So what we want to do is figure out, what does this row of capacitors do? Because when you see a row like this, they're typically a bank of capacitors. So one of the things we'll check is, are these capacitors connected? If we put a terminal on the positive ends, let me zoom you out. How about right there? So if we put our terminals on the positive ends of these capacitors, we'll see that they're in short at the positive ends. All right, that's close enough to zero. That 0.3 may be just the resistance of my leads or the ends of them. And you can see that these are all connected. And I know they're all connected because I've already looked. See that? They're all connected. So we've got one bank of capacitors here that are basically in parallel. And we've got one that's exploded. Now, I know, because I've already done quite a bit of probing and figured it out, that the way that this is wired up is the positive side of these capacitors is wired directly to the 12-volt input on this power connector, and this row is wired up to the 12-volt power on this power connector. And there's some other circuitry that's also wired up that way as well, like this bank over here, but we're not concerned about those right now because those look fine. So basically, we've got one power connector and a circuit for this GPU, and we've got another power connector and a circuit for this GPU. But this one here appears to be healthy, so let's take some measurements on this one that we can compare to the measurements we take on this one. And the first one we want to take is, what is the resistance across the entire circuit? And for that, we go from the positive side of one of our capacitors to the negative side. And what we get is thousands of ohms, which is to be expected when you have this many circuits in parallel. And just by the nature of this, basically, like that's to be expected. So that looks good. Now, however, if we take a measurement on this corresponding one for our number 2 GPU here, instead of thousands, we get 90-ish. Come on, there we go. 93. Which is not sane. So right away, we've determined that we've got a circuit where the resistance through it, of whatever components make it up, is way off what we're expecting. So I think maybe our next actual course of action would be to remove this damaged capacitor and see if that doesn't fix the problem. And something tells me it probably will. We'll need to replace that capacitor before we can expect the card to work. And even then, there may be other damage. But that would be a good first step, is to replace this. However, I would just want to make sure before I go to the trouble, given that these capacitors are actually fairly expensive and you can't just get them anywhere, that there isn't anything else that's definitely destroyed the card such that we'll never save it. And for that, we need to flip the card back over. And we just want to take some more resistance measurements through the various components of the card. So this VRM right here, with these two MOSFETs, this choke, and there's some capacitors, I think, on the back, is the memory power for these memory chips. And you may remember there are corresponding ones on the back. And we will just test our resistance on that to ground. What we're expecting is like 100. So there we go, 120. That's slightly high, but probably okay. And now we look for a corresponding one of these, and I believe that's this one here. And basically we've got this capacitor right here that tells us that this VRM is separate from these four. So we've got that capacitor right there that I suspect, yeah, see that this terminal is connected to that terminal. So we know that this capacitor participates in this circuit. And I think this is the memory power for this guy over here. Once again, we've got 100-ish. So that's looking good. And we'll just check our core on this one. And for one of these 290X cores, I know from experience that 3.1 is a perfectly sane resistance. So there's a pretty good chance that this core is good. So let's swap our probes around here. So we'll check this core here, the one on our affected side. And once again, 3 point something, so that one's probably good too. This phase here is the memory controller power. So we'll check that one. And that one, like 40 or 50 seems to be about right. We've got 55. So that's sane. And on this one, I believe this is the corresponding one from this side. We got 40 something, so that's probably okay too. And that's the main voltages for each of our GPUs. There are obviously some additional ones, this one and that one and this guy right here, which I think is the main power for our PLX bridge. So let's check that. And I know from experience working on GTX 690s that there is a relatively sane reading. Slightly low, but this could be a different model of PLX bridge. So we haven't found anything really glaringly wrong other than that one exploded capacitor, which we suspect, because it's so obvious, is what's pulling our resistance on our this 12 volt connector down to a 90 ohms instead of the thousands that it should be. So I think our next step will be to fire up the hot air station and remove it, and with it out of the circuit, make sure that the resistance goes back up to our thousands of ohms like we expected. So let's flip our card over here and get our hot air station ready to go and get that capacitor off the board. All right, folks, the best laid plans of mice and men. That was yesterday, and I did my very best to get you a shot of removal of that capacitor, but it ended up being 10 minutes of my hairy knuckles heating that up, and I messed up the autofocus on the overhead camera here, and you'll have to forgive me for that. At any rate, we've got the capacitor off of the board, and now we can test the resistance across those pads to see if our short went away. Remember, we had 90 ohms, which is basically a short on that circuit. And now, if we test, get our positive, right? We've got thousands, which is what we were expecting. Our behavior of this circuit is a little bit different from behavior of this circuit, and that may have something to do with having one less capacitor. See, this one goes up to about 3,000 and stops more or less. See that? Anyway, our short is gone, which is the most important thing. So we're going to call that a win, and I've got a fresh capacitor on the way, but they're actually kind of expensive. These capacitors cost about $2 or $3 a piece, which when you think about a whole card's worth, suddenly the fact that this costs $1,500 doesn't seem all that surprising. Anyway, we've got that in the mail, but it'll take a few days to arrive. So we're going to call this an episode, and we'll reconvene with an episode 2 once that arrives and we're ready to start working on our repair. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting, and subscribe for more if you don't want to miss episode 2, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.